morning, my name is Siobhan Hyde, this is Niall Naessens. We're here in the Graphic Studio Gallery in Cope Street in Dublin on the 6th of March 2015, and this is Niall's first solo show since graduating in 2013 from the Master's Programme up in NCAD. Can you tell me about how your work developed or changed, any influence or impact that had on you?
Yeah, I think, the reason I did the Masters was it gave me an opportunity to, look at my work without having the onus of making work for an exhibition or without trying to make work maybe for sale or whatever. And so I used the 2 years to draw my way around a lot of problems, and I made hundreds of drawings in the year, and in that developed ideas and concepts and motifs and drawing procedures that are all present in this show. I think, to make a drawing, the turnover of drawings is very quick, so you can do an awful lot of work, and the development is much more rapid than if you're making an etching, because you can make 10 or 12 drawings maybe in the time that you would make a plate. And so towards the end of the year, I started to make drawings which were actually finished and presentable pieces of work, which was a new thing for me. Drawings were always a means of investigation and a means of developing ideas for me before that. And to show a drawing as a finished piece of work wasn't something that I really would have done before that. So.
Did you work in graphite or colour pencil, or both?
Nearly always with my favourite pencils, 8000 series Faber-Castell 8Bs.
All of them 8Bs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the whole colour spectrum?
Well, no, they're just black graphite pencils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because you used to work in...
I used to make colour drawings with again Faber-Castell Polychromos, which are very nice pencils. And but most of the drawing that I did some drawing in ink and other materials, but I'd say mostly what I worked with was just this one single pencil.
And did you keep all the drawings, the hundreds of drawings?
Some of them, and some of them I didn't, but yeah, most of them I did, yeah.
You still have them?
I do.
Some of them are present here in the show, are they?
No, they're from the Master Show, no. I suppose there is some of the drawings that I did here, I didn't know they were going to end up in the show when I made them. And then down the line, I considered, okay, maybe I've started making the show already before I even realised that I had. And the drawings became, part of the work that I was considered to be the body of the work of the show now.
Okay. And did you draw on watercolour paper?
Drawing cartridge, Stockwell, artist's quality drawing cartridge is what I used.
What weight is that?
It's about 140 grams. It's not that heavy.
No.
Maybe 180, I think it is actually.
Okay.
So it'll be a lot lighter than printmaking paper, but it had a finish that was appropriate to what I was doing. There was too much nap on something like Zircon. There was too much nap to draw.
Yeah.
The harder paper receives the pencil much better.
Yeah. So in a recent interview I did with Michael Cullen, he spoke about your environment influencing the work. I know you moved down to Kerry 10 years ago or so. Even though you were still producing landscape work, what effect did actually living in the landscape have on the work?
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned to you before that when you moving has several things. Suddenly you were isolated from the community that you used to work in. And I used to work in the graphic studio, which was an open plan with lots of people working, and suddenly you were working on your own. So that has a big effect on how you do things as well. And I think when you go and live there, it's much different than when you go and visit a place and to work for a short space of time. I think when you live there, you see things differently. This show, I called it L12121, which refers to the road that I live on, and I like that title because it doesn't describe the place romantically. It describes the place where I live a little bit callously, and because I see a lot of these as being, you know, more generic landscapes rather than being landscapes per se of where I live for the people who know there. You know, I'd like to think that there's a lot more in the work than just some kind of a souvenir landscape of a place where somebody has an association with. And so I suppose, if you like, you know, I hope that there's art in there that is bigger than the place, if you like. And,
yes, yeah.
You know, for that reason, I decided that this number would be a nice way of you know, expressing that the work is from where I am, but without unromantically, really. You know?
Yes, yeah. Well, your titles have always veered away from any kind of romanticism. Your series of weather related term show a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It has that sort of feel.
All those titles were taken from the shipping forecast at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think it is on the radio, and you know, they're very poetic, even though they're scientific. You know, 1,008 millibars rising slowly and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's an inherent poetry in the scientific description of the weather, and so I used all those things as titles.
Yeah, that worked really well. What about the titles of this show? Say, for example, this one behind us, the Massey Ferguson 290.
Well, it's just very descriptive, really, of what is there. But you know, again, I suppose it's a bit like the L121. It's just a descriptive title, and yeah, I think that yeah.
You talked about this as a symbol, the symbolism.
Yeah, you were mentioning the thing about objects, and you know, objects, when an artist takes them on board, you know, they become other things. And we were talking, I think, about Andy Warhol's Kansas Soup and Morandi's bits and pieces from his studio. And when they become pieces of art, they become maybe icons. And I think that you know, the Massey Ferguson is an icon of Irish agriculture. And at one stage, you know, the new tractor would have been full of, you know, looking to the future and progress. And now the aging tractors are kind of represent the decline of agriculture in the west of Ireland.
Yeah. Would that also be said of this one of a caravan and is it an oil drum?
No, it's actually a muck spreader.
A muck spreader, no less. Okay.
And it's for slurry, not for oil.
Okay.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. These are things that are around my neighbourhood, and you know, the caravan was once used and loved, and now it's abandoned, and it evokes a lot of ideas. It evokes a lot of story, and in the one with the slurry tank, there is leaves that have been blown up, and amongst them there is a theatre to the cinema in Dingle, and it says Admit One on the ticket, and people see association because the name that is painted on the side of the muck spreader is Abbey, so they think the ticket and the Abbey have something to do with theatre. So sometimes associations of things come out that you never intended.
Yes, it's always fantastic.
And objects have that kind of thing, we know that people have associations with them.
The point about the object was that it was Oscar Wilde had said about the art critic has to have a certain temperament to be able to have to be deeply moved by a physical object. And that's what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, the artist has to kind of look at something and represent it, you know, to people in a new way. And you know, a lot of my neighbours were surprised that I'd want to make a piece of art about this caravan, which is probably a bit of an eyesore in a way. But you know, the object becomes loaded with more things when the artist takes it on. And not necessarily with the things that the artist means to take it on, but because he's inviting people to look at this thing again and to think about it. Actually, I learned a few stories about the caravan by drawing. Now I know what it is there.
The passers-by, people who knew more about it.
Yeah, no, just my neighbours. I didn't know who it belonged to and everything, but you know, it has a history. I'm sure I won't go into, but it does have a history.
Okay. Okay, so will you tell me, I was quite surprised to see that these are all monoprint drawings. You call them monoprint drawings?
Yeah, because the drawings, the initial drawing is a graphite drawing with my 8B Faber Castell 3000, and it is then layers of ink are printed over it, of transparent ink, you know, to build up the colour in the image, and then sometimes it's drawn on again over the layers of etching ink, and the drawing over the ink is different than the drawing under the ink, because the drawing under the ink is fixed and you know, dulled a little bit by having the inks over it, and then you have a drawing of things over it, and they're much more intense and much blacker than you know, as the drawings, and then you end up with these layers, so you get an opinion that some things are kind of maybe coming towards you and some things are receding. You get an unusual kind of perspective by you know, building up drawing in this way.
Did you let the ink dry in between?
Sometimes I did, and sometimes I drew it back into the wet ink.
So you're scraping off the ink maybe?
No, it just kind of mixes up with it. You know, it just kind of disappears into the, you know, it just becomes amalgamation with the graphite.
Yeah, so I don't know if even I could figure that out by just looking at them, only you really know.
No, but I suppose, you know what, you developed a way of making pictures, and that is, you know, a hybrid of many activities that I would do, like drawing and printing got all mixed up, if you like, and because of that, you come up with a new language, if you like, for making images that is peculiar to this show, for me anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I see you have developed your calling card of the line. Cross-hatching seems to have, to a certain extent, been put aside for more horizontal lines. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
some of them.
It's uncrossed hatching.
It's uncrossed hatching.
I suppose, so it's, you know, it's been pared down to one direction, and so you have just a series of parallel lines. Sometimes more intense than others, sometimes broken, and you know, the different intensities and the different frequency of the lines gives you different textures and tones.
Yeah, I can see that. I'd like to thank you today for coming into the gallery to talk to me, Neil, and it was an absolutely magnificent show.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.